On Monday, early afternoon, 24th of April. Mercury just flipped retrograde and Pluto is turning retrograde. You know what happens in retrogrades? We get a chance to review, rewind, reassess, reevaluate, reprogram, reformat, rejoice, rekindle, reawaken, revise, review, and on and on. We already talked recently about how Pluto in Aquarius has sent shockwaves across the world in terms of wake up, wake up, wake up, everybody. Now Pluto is flipping back. Hello, Ivona. Now Pluto is flipping back into Capricorn for most of the rest of the year, and then it'll go direct again close to the end of the year, and that will be in shadow phase until early to mid 2024, and eventually by the end of 2024, Pluto's going to go into Aquarius for real and not going back for another 250 years. So right now, we already talked about the desperation of what's happening in the status quo, in the global elites, the folks who are basically trying to take over and control the world to an extent that's, I don't know. It's never happened before. Humanity has never had the chance for this to happen before on a global scale. But can you imagine being one of the elites and realizing, like, my gosh, this is possible. I could actually own, control, and take over the whole world. Yeah, I mean, it's just lust for power, money, and control. Anyway, let's move on. Mercury retrograde just happened, and it's sending all these little shock waves. I feel that it's quite closely associated with the Aries energy of, Jupiter in Aries, Chiron in Aries, and how I think billions of people across Earth are starting to say, enough, you know what? I want my sovereignty back. I want my sovereign self. I have been a wounded individual for too long. Anyway, lots of hiccups. I just want to rattle through these headlines before I forget them, before the news cycle switches into something else. I was woken up to this, and I just couldn't help rejoicing, laughing my head off. We all know right now, at least in America, the whole story about go woke, go broke for Budweiser beer. The aftershocks are just getting bigger and deeper. So it's very, very funny. We are seeing what happens when American people wake up. Hello, Necessary Truth. So Budweiser stock prices continuing to fall, and the leaders at Anheuser-Busch, or they're holding only the companies that own that. There's layers and layers of corporations. They're trying to figure out how to spin this story to make it look like it's not a big deal. We can handle it. And of course they can handle it. Nobody cares if Bud Light goes broke. It doesn't matter. The big corporate conglomerates, global conglomerates, will still go on. But I love seeing these stories unfold. So you all know that the lady who initiated the Go Woke, Go Broke advertising campaign for Bud Light, she's got fired. And one of the other guys at the top of Bud got basically exited. And then all of a sudden it sent like a shockwave across globalist empires. Tucker Carlson. Some of you might know him as a very, very, probably one of the most popular and loved newscasters, journalists, talk show hosts, whatever you want to call it. And he's been living at Fox News for years now. Anyway, suddenly Monday morning, he's gone. Kaput. No mention of it beforehand. It was interesting because he was speaking at the Heritage Foundation, which is a deeply conservative, pro America, pro patriot, America First organization, academically based. And he was being a speaker there, and they were kind of joking about go woke, go broke, and who's going to get fired next, and so on. And somebody joked about how, Tucker, it might be you next. And Tucker said, "Yeah, I could easily see that." And then the other guy said, "But don't worry about it. You've always got a home here at the Heritage Foundation, so don't worry." And so it was a big, cuddly, warm, fuzzy moment. And here we are Monday morning. Bam, Tucker's gone. It sent shockwaves in the news media for people who actually care about this stuff. It's not being reported on Fox, but I've seen it on Sky News and WeOn News. It's so funny. You have to go outside of America to get the news on America. Anyway, so Tucker's gone, and lots of people are saying, "Well done, Tucker. Screw Fox. Screw Rupert Murdoch. Screw the global elites." Even Fox is showing its true colors as a global elitist organization. And Fox was one of the last refuges for, let's say, I don't know if you could call it conservative or popular American news perspective. There's also Newsmax now, which is really, really expanding in its base since it's been reinstituted back on DirecTV and AT&T. So who knows what's going to happen next? Anyway, so that's it. Tucker got fired. Dan Bernardino also departed as well from Fox. And both those guys are pretty cool, in my opinion. Another example of go woke, go broke. It was Budweiser. Now it's Bath and Beyond. Have you ever heard of them? They're going bankrupt. Chapter 11. Billions and billions of dollars wiped out. And it's ever since they instituted the go woke, go broke stuff, and they borrowed astronomical amounts of super cheap money to go gambling with their brand. And it all backfired. Here's another one that blew my mind. There was one of the ladies, I think it's from the Kansas or maybe I think one of the Federal Reserve Bank offices across America. She has just put out a huge warning in a Federal Reserve Bank meeting. She openly declared that, frankly, CBDCs are a very serious hazard for the American public. And we need to think very carefully about instituting a CBDC here in America directly connected to the Federal Reserve banking system. We've already got FedNow, which is going to be starting up very, very soon, but that's more of a neutral, ultra-high-speed payment processing system. A lot of people are scared that FedNow is the gateway to CBDCs. We'll find out what happens, but anyway, yeah, I always think it's hilarious when people inside the elites actually turn on the elites. And this lady did it. I think it's hilarious. More power to her. Okay. It's a little bit breezy. I hope the wind didn't knock out my voice too much. I'm doing a very impromptu show here. I'm working from my notes outside of McDonald's because people have been telling me that inside McDonald's it's too rowdy. These are my notes. Oh, what was next? Hunter Biden is being brought in front of the Department of Justice. Okay, now it's not a prosecution or anything. It's just a bunch of attorneys meeting up with Merrick Garland, who is a total Marxist, commie, sellout, lefty, part of the Biden admin. They're gonna, because the Hunter Biden story can't go away, and it's not going away. The status quo, the American deep state are trying to figure out how are we going to play this game. How are we going to cover up Hunter Biden and the Biden crime family? Because it's starting to break open. What are we going to do? And of course, you probably already know that the House Senate Committee, which is the Republican new group of pit bulls who are, there's a small handful of them who are very vicious, and they are going hard after all the deep state elites. So hopefully, during the Mercury retrograde, we're going to see a lot more spillage of sewage and blood and guts from out of the deep state elites. Here's another one. All of this happened this morning. By the way, the Bed Bath & Beyond bankruptcy was planned on Sunday. So they obviously had deep insider connections to be able to organize the banking, let's say, agreements to do their huddle on a Sunday before the news broke on Monday. Anyway, Bed Bath & Beyond, they're going to liquidate for pennies on the dollar. So somebody's going to be buying an awful lot of stuff and probably reselling it on Amazon or in a bunch of warehouses or something. So, and then here's the next thing. Have you ever heard of Susan Rice? She was a hardcore partner of Obama. And she, and along with Obama, I believe, along with other people who believe the same as me, that they are the ones actually pulling the strings and writing the script for Biden administrations. And everybody knows that the whole Biden administration is crumbling, and it's a basically an unstoppable flood of sewage, deep state sewage, as the swamp has been drained and the swamp creatures are squirming around, and the stench is unbelievable. It's so bad that they can't even stand the stench of each other. So they're starting to walk away. Susan Rice is walking away. She worked hand in hand with Obama to basically divide America, take America down. So I just think it's funny. Mercury retrograde. I blame it on the planets, as always, as you know. So I just wanted to point that out. I've been on a steep learning curve myself. I just want to share a few things with you. Here is my napkin. I don't know if you can see this. I was trying to create a very brief shorthand note of names and three-letter agencies that are all part of the deep state elite. And they are all on red alert for damage control, because it's fully exposed, as predicted, that the deep state had to expose themselves in order to get their agenda done. And of course, that reaches all the way up to the Federal Reserve banking system and beyond, even up above the U.S. Fed and the U.S. Treasury. There are people higher up than that who are pulling the strings, okay? So don't forget that. So here's the list. I'll just start. I'll just show you. There's the Biden family itself. Now you can also include the Clintons, the Bushes, and the Obamas. Okay, they're all part of it. There's Kamala Harris, and then there's Antony Blinken, there's Merrick Garland, Alejandro Mayorkas, Lloyd Austin, and what's his name, Milley. All these people work hand in hand to destroy America. They are doing everything they can to divide America, okay, so that we turn against each other. The biggest enemy that we have to America right now is right here inside America, and this is it. The big popular names that we already know: the FBI, the CIA, the DHS, the CDC, the NIH, the DHS, the DOD, and the DOJ, and there's plenty more. They're all weaponized. You know that already. Antony Blinken, he's the Secretary of State. He basically goes around representing Biden across the world because Biden can't do it himself. There's Merrick Garland, the Attorney General, who's basically undermining the whole legal system of America. Remember, in America, we have three simple structures. There's the executive, the legislative, and the judicial. It's division of power, okay? so that you don't have emperors, you don't have dictators, you don't have uh, tyranny. And that was the whole point of the American Bill of Rights, 1787. The whole point of 1776, okay, is to get away from all those primitive, evil, uh, top down, deep state empire people. All right. And of course, the people at the very, very top, they all they care about is power and money and control. It's like crack cocaine, fentanyl, all combined for them. They're totally addicted. They've sold out their bodies, minds, hearts, and souls to the deep state agenda to get rich, have power, have money, control in this physical 3D lifetime. And the way they do that is they form compacts and agreements with each other that allow each other to indulge in their extreme perversions. And you cover for me, and I'll cover for you. Okay? Got that? We will form a cartel of global elites. Got it? What's happening is that it's all coming exposed, and some of the elites can't hack it anymore. They're being outed. The populists are rising. The American MAGA movement, the American patriots, American constitutionalists are standing their ground. It's in a very passive way at the moment, but other countries do not have the ability to stand their ground the way that we do in America. The only way they can voice themselves outside America is with riots, revolutions, bricks, stones, sticks, petrol bombs, arson, sabotage. In America, all that stuff's happening anyway. The deep state, funded by George Soros and others, they're paying for the sabotage and destruction of America from within. Okay, and there is enough angst now with, let's just say, we the people, that some of them are basically saying, you know what, folks, it's time to do something. We don't have to actually arm up at this moment. We're already armed with plenty of ammo, but we need to start acting on our beliefs. You know, free market capitalism and how that works so beautifully when you allow it to happen, and so on and so on. And the classic example of populist movements is the go woke, go broke phenomenon. You know, enough people gather together and say, you know what, to whichever corporation, and that corporation goes, it's simple. We the people rule. The elites don't like that. So they're always trying to take us down. But things are pivoting. Over the next year or two, it's really going to accelerate. And then when Pluto is fully established in Aquarius, we're going to have a 20-year journey, a revolution, where everything is going to be tipped upside down in favor of we the people, okay? So the story is only just beginning, okay? It's very exciting, okay? Some of us are very lucky. I feel very lucky to be inside America despite the deep state evil agenda, because I have rights and privileges that you can't get anywhere else in the world. I'm a very lucky man. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this little rant for this morning. Today is just something to celebrate. We might as well celebrate the whole go woke, go broke phenomenon, all right? So I'm going to sign off now and let you get on with your day. It's been a pleasure to do this with you. Thank you for visiting. Love you guys. Bye-bye.